as we continue along our day with topics. We're gonna talk 5D Mystic Mentor, content creator, podcast, host, inspiring human potential, guidance on being yourself. And as our shorts shared, the weak people are the mean ones who also are cowards because they don't go and heal with a good therapist. And they follow the 3D, 4D public figures collective. So it's not a good or bad group, but the ones who don't want to engage in being their best self. So it's not hard to become what you can be. It is a choice you make based on who you want to be and what you want to create. So, the extended version is going to be talking to you about all that you can be in life and all your relationships. That's why you get to be that. You get to choose. Am I going to be a functional child adult? I am right here. That's why I'm a mentor. That's why I'm a content creator. That's why I'm a podcast host who uses my voice to say you can be yourself with the inner growth mindset and explore unknown, uncertainty, and unexpected from within you with an open heart while going with the flow. And that's by integrating the inner growth mindset, but also mindfulness practices and mindset and mindsight. Mindsight I got from Dr. Daniel Siegel, so I know when you have your body all ready to go, great. Reiki master also, Akashic record reader and tarot oracle card reader, and we're going to use one of the archetypes today to talk about mystics. So when you're a functional inner child adult and mystic, you are accountable, you accept your flaws, my flaws, we have integrity while we're accepting that. That's why we don't do the unapologetically anything. We have unconditional love, and we love to bring forth equanimous conversations and interactions with others and society to expand each other, societal consciousness and culture, and humanity as we keep on moving forward. And so it's something called pursuing and maintaining a self with an internal secure attachment. Okay, so growing also and investing in and cultivating the genuine relationships that we've been looking into, and choosing our restorative embodiment, which involves healthy self-regulation in our non-reactive state, healthy self-soothing in our non-reactive state, and that is your social engagement nervous system state. Okay, so that's your birthright to be a restorative embodiment. We successfully again accomplished this and all these aspects thanks to, in our day-to-day, living life and relationships with mindfulness, mindset, and mindset practices in the forefront. For me, I'm also spiritually living life. And that's because I begin a life with Jesus, God, Holy Spirit. Then I was opened up to clairs, which are the same as spiritual gifts and our sciences. They look into all of this beautiful world. So when you meet true sciences, they and mystics get along because we come together and share with you the same that we have learned from our ancestors, which is our brothers and sisters. They all have opportunity to tap into their higher potential and navigate life from a bilaterally and vertically integrated brain. And if that is something not successful to comfortably, no. The sciences is showing that you can earn your secure attachment even if you began life with personality disorders and childhood trauma. So again, the weak ones, we know who they are. They're the mean ones, and they're the cowards who do not go and get Patrick Chahan so that they can become empowered inner child adults and not hypervigilant individuals who perpetuate the trauma that they experience. Okay, so our heart is open and leads with our higher whole self. Our mind has an empowered masculine thanks to having and using bilateral, vertical, and overall integration of the brain alongside the inner growth mindset, thoughts, and explorations. And our body has an empowered feminine thanks to us choosing to mindfully engage our non-reactive social engagement nervous system in those day-to-days. So again, it's not hard to be all that you can be. No. And it's not hard to become all that you can be once you've chosen to be yourself. And once you've chosen that when you're interacting with people, you want to bring the best version of you. So being yourself mindfully, spiritually has you staying anchored and regulated in ventral offering energy as the ventral vagal state. And that's what we might be talking about as well. Okay? And with that, thanks for hearing a bit of this and that as we continue with this lovely archetype. And again, I'm going to translate it to human talk and get rid of the parts that make it seem like it's a special gift. It's something that you will either be a mystic or not. It's special always to be alive and breathing, really. And it's special to be able and have enlightenment happen quietly for me, like the blossoming of a flower. Thank you, Sadhguru. For some, it's not quiet, but once they achieve enlightenment, they will know how to, Sadhguru again, not aspire to meet a wonderful person, but aspire to become the wonderful person that you expect others to be, which is why being yourself mindfully, spiritually, functional in your child adults is what you will aspire to be. If you know neuroscience, neurobiologists, and all the good mental health professionals and their information, and you accept that and you believe in it, because apparently, again, 3D, 4D don't believe in it. And they think that they're trying to imprison us. So then that's the other thing. We leave it again, leave it alone. Last quote. When we bury feelings, we bury them alive. We wind up living with a heart and mind that are filled with landmines easily triggered when we go through the world. Ron Siegel, Psych D. Now, a therapist is good for all people who notice that they have emotional triggers to the extent of creating suffering within their day-to-day. And that's where you take it to a good therapist, because they help you to reparent your inner child and take ownership and notice all of that, which is the unkind projection that comes from your childhood. So you take ownership of your humanity. Next comes more. Yoga helps the ventrovagal nervous system. Mindfulness helps the integration of your brain and therefore then also your mind. But you will first want to use what is a good therapist, because with the MDR child parts work somatics, they, as Debdana points out, I'm quoting her, have the importance of co-regulating with your nervous system, as your nervous system is in dysregulation, and reaching out to look for some ventral vagal energy. So she says the trauma survivor client, because she's a therapist, doesn't find it right away inside their own system. And so it's really the job of the therapist to bring a regulated system and offer that energy to the client's nervous system. And it's a big responsibility, as she points out. And so you want to know, she also shares, that's why she tells therapists you have to stay anchored in ventral in order to offer this and be of service to the clients that come in, which is why all therapists are going to be empowered when they know how to not have triggers. And I've seen some that are not. They have triggers, they have alters that come up, they have parts of their own child stuff come up with the triggers, the dysregulated. Okay, so identifying a good therapist, we've talked about that one before. Also identifying a good mystic in general, they won't ever say don't go to therapy. No, when people have come to me, and I've shared one story for a Reiki, Akashic record reading, tarot, all of it, as their body is going through, yes, an expansion. I knew of the time, I always know the times, because again, I'm tapped into it. But I said, hold on a minute, as they're explaining to me what took place with this psychotic break they had. And I said, are you going to therapy? I know I want to mind your business, but what's going on? No, I'm not doing anything. Okay. I'm attachment trauma informed. I said, so before we do any type of session, I'm going to have the adult attachment interview with me to accompany us so that I can understand what your attachment category is. And then we will actually pause from that moment, and I will talk to you about what I know depending on what attachment category you are. Because if I got a secure attachment, and that, anyways, long story short, a responsible professional when it comes to personal development, self-help, mindfulness, mindset, life coach, anyone, they will have attachment trauma depth information for, they will care about your integration of the brain, your restorative embodiment self, and they will know that they are not the therapist and psychotherapist who instead bring to you what you would need, like Pat Ogden with sensory motor somatics, and or Peter Levine's somatic experiencing, Bessel van der Kolk. Okay, so the therapists and psychotherapists have a lot of the good ones, because there's the ones who don't believe in dissociative disorders, and then we don't want those. There's the ones who think personality disorders like narcissism aren't healable. That's not a good therapist, because Dr. Daniel Fox, he's been working with personality disorders. He's all over internet in a good way, well, YouTube. And he has toolkits, free resources, all of it, and helps people with borderline personality, with narcissism. And I know of people healing from narcissism, borderline. So we don't close people up in a box. And all people can be their ventral vagal state, from what I've gathered, with the right support, and then with their wanting it. No, their wanting it is number one. So while determined, Robert Spolsky says we don't have free will. I would say, okay, God told me to mind my own business about the 0-1-year-old, but we can share information that can give people opportunity. So the strong ones go to therapy, and they tell you why it's important. The weak ones, cowards, mean ones, the ones who are ignorant and they want to just play, the ancient movies on a go in their threat response. They follow the human beings, all the public figures who are telling them not to do yoga, not to do mindfulness, not to do therapy, not to do, versus here, yoga. If you have trauma stuff, it comes up. Decentralization of the self. Let's take mindfulness seriously, because if there's awareness, which is always, and you can't, so your body needs to be yours, and the awareness of trauma charges. And that's what people disregard, because they disregard the nervous system, which only has 3 modalities. And if you don't know how to regulate yours, that's why you're going to want to understand the fancy lady when she says it's dangerous to have no emotion, and she titles it's not true that it's inherently healthy or enlightenment to be non-reactive. Her state, it's not, no, it is true that it's healthy and enlightenment to be non-reactive, and it's not dangerous to have no emotion. What she feels is that she wants to be able to project her 3-year-old and her threat response on a go, which means staying modulated embodiment. Okay, so she stays modulated embodiment. Plenty of people I've seen do it. They're not actively intelligent on an emotional, mental, or physical level, or available. No, their hearts are completely in a different space. So again, they're not internally securely attached from their child parts to become functional inner child adults. They don't know how to be their true self because they're a pause self. Every time their fight response comes on, we got a pause self, which is led by a teenager, FYI, because we got an adaptive child part. You got a person who goes rigid, chaotic, and doesn't know how to handle equanimity because they've chosen to be in their threat response. So they're also dumbed down, because once you're in your threat response, you're really leading with whatever is yesterday's news, and I'm going to notice it because you're also going to be in a small energy. Okay, so FYI, modulated embodiment is not impressive once you know how impressive and amazing it is to consistently be in your restorative embodiment, and that's from your intellectual brain, because I love intellect. Emotional, I'm always on. I'm a woman. I'm full of emotions. I don't close my heart. Oh, we're all emotional beings. I don't have any disowned child parts. And that's because I didn't get told it was yucky or shameful to have all the deep emotions that a child will have. So when you have a child-centric environment, that's why you don't know shame for feeling or for being vulnerable. You know, yeah, that's my human makeup. People didn't realize that's what love is all about, is that we can open up and be just, that's the most amazing gift ever. You know about this, so we talked enough about what a true life partner is made of. The mystic, and so I'm going to just read a little bit of it. Remains fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation, is able to use the throat to transmute what is going to be explained by my words as ignorant concepts, limited concepts. So the mystic will transmute and will bring to light something that can disrupt that which is limited, which is why the good sciences, they play life in an awesome way from their ventral vagal state, like the mystics. And so when we have the consilience approach, we're also able to bring to people options. So we'll say, okay, this is what is not your health, and this is what is your health. But obviously we are grounded in reality, knowing that's something that I don't believe in neuroscience. I don't believe my 3-year-old has anything to do with my maladaptive patterns of behavior, because I decided so. And they have a bunch of experts they can go follow that will give them what they want. Like the ones who don't want to do mindfulness. You got experts saying it's bad for you because they don't understand that, no, it's not bad. It's that if you have inner child parts, alters, things that are happening in your body from your 0 to 8-year-old, and you don't know it because you didn't go to therapy, well, yep, it's going to come up, because in the state of awareness, as Dr. Daniel Siegel informed me, you're in maximum uncertainty. So you don't have a good time in the darkness. I have a great time into the darkness of unknown, because I didn't lose Maria. And I didn't lose God or Jesus or Holy Spirit. And I didn't lose actively anything of bilateral and vertical integration, because I have interoception. That's the sixth sense. And all the integrated areas of my brain are integrated. That's why an integrated brain is awesome and fun. The people who don't want it, again, they don't have to have it. I know why they go rigid or chaotic. It's the disempowered feminines and the disempowered and unimpressive masculines too. So, when you meet unimpressive, when you meet the weak ones who want to act badass, and they do from their pretend response. No, they're not pretending. They're actively and they're sympathetic. So Transmuting, yes, with our voice. They do not fear darkness. Yes, the unknown. We don't do into the unknown. I'm so special because I'm navigating into space that never has been. No, first of all, that's not true. It's not been navigated. I got information from people. I wouldn't have it without them. I navigate a space that is unknown. That's not really unknown. It's that there's different things we come to understand that we can present now with new data and new information, So, um, the energy behind it embeds a bunch of, yes, prudent change makers, patient, seeking growth above all else. Definitely. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. That is true. The mystic revels in mystery. Yes, we do. And the great riddle of life. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is like one of the most amazing to not know. Oh, but then to know that you can know and to be a 3-year-old and a grown up. It's exhilarating. So we do dance with the forces of light and dark upon its wings, but it's not light or dark the way the 4D makes it sound. Yeah, it's not good or bad. It's more of, again, what is already known, what is unknown, and what has potential to be different. That we don't claim we know everything about at all, because that's a point. It's like, okay, let me wait for it. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be prudent. I can bring forth some change. But am I certain of the pieces I'm presenting? I am, yes, very much so. And therefore, when it comes to the expanded version of the mystic, visionary and ageless, because what you share is going to last the test of time, like what Darwin shared, because you're not going to share bullshit. It might be bullshit to some people, like self-help, pseudoscience bullshit, self-help crap, right? Remember, we got our naysayer. But what I'm saying is what you're presenting is something that you will find is ageless. You know why? Because when you care about what you do, you don't present something that doesn't work. You present something that you have found works again and again and again. And being yourself mindfully, spiritually, a whole inner child adult, it's keeping on working for me. And I didn't need yoga personally, but the ones who do yoga and they do mindfulness because they've claimed their inner child and they want to become their whole self and have a good time. I love to love, and my baby, he loves to dance, and he loves to love and learn and not cast stones, and I love that because intellectually is like the most amazing of conversations ever. When, on the other hand, we have the stingy mystic, as I'm going to call the 43D, they're all weak, and they're all stingy and weak. Why? Because they ignore their little child inside, and then they want to tell us that they know how to be smart. No, because they're mean, and they're unkind. They're lovable. They just don't believe that they are. They're the ones who say, don't be yourself. How dare they? You need to change yourself. No. Excuse me. I have a whole inner securely attached self. She doesn't change. You see, that's why she's never changed. On the other hand, those who did have disowned parts, they feel changed. That's why their transformation is different than mine. I have a good time rocking and rolling. Yes, and that's because my mother knew how to let me be a child. Emotionally, mentally, and physically. And then she also taught me, if anyone ever speaks to you like this, you come tell me and remember what it means to be a person. And so she taught me how to respect people while they were disrespecting me, which was, if you can't say something nice, say no. And God reiterated that confirmation. And so, and no hands and no vulgarity, meaning you don't curse at them in their face. You can then curse and chit chat and gossip or, vent. I don't like to vent, but I still can have things out. Guess what happened to me? Guess what happened? Guess who came up to me today out of the men that are out there being, So anyways, we're going to have some stories in a little bit, but I do love the mystic revels in the mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. The moth is my first spiritual insect guide. Then I have others, but I love that moth. So, okay, thanks for tuning in. If you like, share, subscribe, you're going to help the channel grow. We're going to get more fun people on board with the actual badass ones. Men, women days, you know what I mean? I don't know any days yet. I can't wait to meet them. Empowered masculines, empowered feminines, the ones that are like, yeah, you know what? Hey, come on over. Here, let me give you a cheat sheet. Just so you know, if you meet somebody who says, how dare you? Just leave it alone. You say, I'm so sorry. How dare I? How dare my ignorant, stupid brain, my mouth. And when someone says, but if you don't mean it, why you apologize? Oh, I recognize that I could be wrong. I was told, I don't use words in your 3-year-old way. I'm so sorry. I forget. Smart people do try to help me to know this. And I've recently found out that I use a word completely erroneously. I'm not joking. This is concerning, but I also know I won't be able to stop it. So just FYI, I'm pseudoscience lady, and I will fuck up words, and I will forget things. I actively know this, but I really, really didn't think I was using this word in the wrong way, and I still cannot conceptualize using it. So I'm like, you know what? I need to just scratch it from my vocabulary, because my brain, no, my body. I am a feeling first. I'm a woman and I'm feminine. I go by frequency and sound. So when I use a word, I will not like it. And I know it sounds silly, but I know how my brain works. And that's why I'm saying when people point out things to me, I thank them. And then I say, shit, I don't know how many times I've used it. And don't use the dictionary when Maria's talking. Actually, if you have questions, ask me that way. Yeah, hey Maria, or if you have like, hey, I think you meant to say this, I will appreciate that. I'll try to remember it. Okay, so thanks for stopping by again. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be back in a little bit.